Hi there, this is a quick guide to the events in The Merchant of Venice by Shakespeare, and it's very short, whistle-stop tour really. If you want to know more details you need to look at some of our other videos. We'll start with Antonio. He's the main character, he's the merchant of the title, and a merchant is somebody who invests money in purchasing goods from abroad, and at the moment, at the start of the play, Antonio's ships are away. Antonio's best friend is Bassanio. They're very loyal to each other, and Bassanio's broke. He doesn't have any money at all because he has spent it all. He approaches Antonio for money. He asks to borrow money, and the reason he wants to borrow money is because he wants to try to impress and marry Portia. So Portia is a very rich woman, so this might solve some of Bassanio's problems, but Antonio doesn't have the cash at the moment because his ships are away. So the two men approach a different character to borrow money. So borrows from Shylock. And Shylock is Jewish, and this is a really important part of the story. Now, Shylock says he will lend Antonio the money, which is, remember, for Bassanio, but there's a special clause. If he is late paying it back, then Antonio is required to give a pound of flesh, or specifically, Shylock wants to cut a pound of flesh from Antonio's body as payment. So we call this the pound of flesh bond, and a bond is a deal, an agreement. Shylock's daughter is Jessica, and Jessica finally finds freedom because Shylock's quite an oppressive father. He keeps her pretty much hidden, locked up. He's very strict, he's very difficult to live with. She actually runs away with a Christian, and she also converts to Christianity, and this makes Shylock very upset and angry because she steals his money and his jewels when she runs away. And just for your reference, Lorenzo is the name of the Christian man that she runs away with. Right, back to Bassanio. Bassanio goes off to Belmont, where Portia lives, and they marry, and actually Gratiano marries Nerissa. Now, at this point, the two men, Bassanio and Gratiano, make a very heartfelt promise that they will never ever remove their wedding rings, and that comes up later. Now, we get a rumour, and it is just a rumour, that Antonio's ships have sunk. So this is bad news for Antonio, and Shylock has Antonio arrested, and it goes to court. So we're all the way up in Act 4, Scene 1 now, and we'll just represent the court here. Okay, and Shylock is a happy man because it seems that he's going to have his bond. That means he's going to be able to cut the pound of flesh, and he is offered more money, but he insists on having the pound of flesh, and he even has a knife, and he's instructed to have scales ready. Now, Bassanio actually offers double the money to save Antonio's life. So Bassanio's got this money from Portia. Remember, he's married to her, and she's rich, and she's put forward this money. And Antonio essentially prepares to die, so he's believing that this is actually going to happen. There we have Antonio looking depressed. Now, the deal is about to go ahead when Portia comes into the courtroom. Now, women would not have been allowed in court in those days, and they certainly wouldn't have spoken. So Portia is disguised as a man. She's disguised as a male doctor of the law. And she points out, this is just as Antonio is about to die. Shylock is about to cut him. She saves the day. So she points out that the bond doesn't specify that any blood should be spilt. So this means that Shylock is in basically in big trouble, because you're not allowed to threaten to kill somebody, especially not a Christian citizen of Venice. So Shylock says he'll just leave with the money, and he's told, no, it's too late. You were offered the money, you were offered double the money, and you turned it down. So Shylock is punished, and we'll just put his punishment over here. So he's forced to convert to Christianity. He's forced to give half his wealth to the state, that means the government, and he's instructed to give the other half to Antonio. However, Antonio says that he can keep the money as long as he leaves it to Jessica and Lorenzo in his will. Now, all the other characters have a happy ending. So we discover that Antonio's ships have not all sunk, and the disagreement of the rings is sorted out because Bassanio and Gratiano took their rings off to say thank you to Portia, because they didn't know that that was Portia disguised as a man. So as a thank you for saving Antonio's life, Bassanio took his ring off and Gratiano followed suit. So that's all sorted out. All is revealed, and they have a big party at the end, and we just left to assume that Shylock is a broken man. Right, that's it. Now remember, this is a very short summary. I've cut out loads of characters and loads of other side plots and events, and you could watch the longer version on our channel to see a more detailed version of the plot. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.